In the heart of the bustling Nigerian village of Obakan, nestled beside the winding Osun River, stood a sacred Iroko tree. Beneath its mighty canopy rested the Ogidigbo, a drum not of wood and hide, but of pure justice and unyielding truth. Crafted by the ancestors themselves, the Ogidigbo possessed an extraordinary power. Anyone who spoke a lie in its presence would find their deceit exposed by a single, resounding beat. The village elders, led by the revered chief Adebayo, used the drum to settle all disputes, ensuring peace and harmony prevailed. The Ogidigbo was feared and respected in equal measure, a silent guardian of morality in a community where reputation was everything. Among the villagers was a young, hardworking farmer named Emeka, whose meager farm was his pride and joy. He lived a simple life, but little did he know that his fate was about to become entangled with the drum and the powerful chief he respected so much. Emeka had just harvested his first batch of yams, a bountiful crop that promised to sustain his family through the lean season. That same morning, Chief Adebayo's prized gold medallion, a symbol of his power and authority, went missing from his chambers. The chief, a man known for his quick temper and even quicker assumptions, immediately pointed a finger at Emeka. He claimed that he had seen Emeka lurking near his hut the previous day. The accusation spread like wildfire through the village, and Emeka's reputation was shattered in an instant. Despite his passionate pleas of innocence, no one dared to contradict the chief. The accusation was scandalous, and whispers of Emeka's greed, fueled by the chief's loyalists, painted him as a cunning thief. The chief, feigning sorrow, declared that Emeka would be brought before the Ogidigbo at the next village gathering to face his judgment. The village square buzzed with a tense energy on the day of the trial. The villagers, their faces a mix of curiosity and dread, gathered around the sacred Iroko tree. Emeka, his head held high despite his frayed nerves, stood facing the imposing Chief Adebayo. The chief, looking regal in his finest robes, recounted his version of the story with a theatrical flair, painting a vivid picture of Emeka's supposed transgression. He detailed the worth of the missing medallion and the audacity of the theft, all while his loyal servants nodded in agreement. Emeka's heart pounded against his chest as he listened to the fabricated tale, his mind racing to find a way to defend himself against such a powerful accuser. The atmosphere was thick with tension. All eyes were on the chief, who, with a dramatic flourish, raised a ceremonial stick, ready to strike the Ogidigbo. Before the chief could beat the drum, Emeka, his voice trembling but firm, cried out, "Wait. Chief Adebayo, you have accused me without proof, without a single witness. I have told my truth, but you refuse to believe it. Let us both stand before the Ogidigbo and let the drum decide." The chief, caught off guard by this bold challenge, hesitated. He had planned to make a show of beating the drum while Emeka was under its spell, but Emeka's demand for a dual trial was unprecedented. The elders, sensing a new kind of drama, murmured amongst themselves and agreed that Emeka's request was fair. A palpable silence fell upon the crowd. The Ogidigbo stood between them, an impartial judge. The juicy gossip of the village would soon be replaced by a shocking truth, or so they thought. Chief Adebayo, his face now a mask of false confidence, agreed to the dual trial. The chief spoke first, reiterating his account of the theft with a practiced ease, his words dripping with conviction. He claimed he had seen Emeka flee with the gold medallion, his figure a shadow in the moonlight. He then struck the drum. The Ogidigbo remained silent. The chief's loyal followers cheered, believing their leader was vindicated. Emeka, however, felt a pang of fear. Had the drum lost its magic? Was he truly doomed? Then, it was Emeka's turn. He spoke of his honest labor, his respect for the chief, and his total ignorance of the missing medallion. He then stepped forward and struck the drum. The Ogidigbo remained silent once again, and a wave of confusion rippled through the crowd. The chief, seeing his moment, stepped forward with a cruel smirk. "The drum has spoken twice," he boomed, "and both times, it has remained silent. This is a sign. It is a sign that Emeka is not only a thief but a master of deceit, a man whose lies are so deeply ingrained that even the Ogedigbo cannot see through them. I, as your chief, will strike the drum one last time to bring the final judgment upon this dishonest farmer." As he spoke, he gestured for his wife, the elegance and quiet his wife, to bring him the ceremonial staff. The crowd, in their simple trust of their leader, began to chant for justice. His wife, however, looked at her husband with a hint of something unreadable in her eyes. The chief wife, with the staff in her hands, suddenly hesitated. A scandalous truth had been a secret between her and the chief for years, a truth that she could no longer bear. She stepped forward, her voice surprisingly clear and strong. "My husband, you are a powerful man, and your word is the law. But the Ogedigbo does not lie. It is not Emeka who is the thief." A collective gasp went through the crowd. The chief's face went from confident to crimson with rage and fear. "Silence, woman," he roared, but Ayabo was undeterred. "The medallion was never stolen," she announced, her gaze fixed on her husband. "It was misplaced by the chief himself, during a foolish drunken gamble he had with a visiting rival chief, a story he begged me to keep a secret for his reputation's sake. The truth is, he lost it months ago and has been searching for a scapegoat ever since." The crowd erupted in a cacophony of gasps and murmurs. All eyes turned to Chief Adebayo, his face a mixture of shock and betrayal. Emeka stood there, a sudden realization dawning on him. The chief, in a last desperate attempt to regain control, grabbed the ceremonial stick and, with all his might, struck the Ogedigbo. Boom! The drum's resounding beat vibrated through the entire village, a sound that was at once a roar and a sigh. It was the sound of a truth finally revealed. The scandalous details of the chief's gambling debts and his willingness to sacrifice an innocent man's honor for his own pride became clear. He was exposed as a liar and a cheat. Overcome with shame and the undeniable evidence of the Ogedigbo, the chief collapsed to his knees, his authority shattered. Emeka was not only declared innocent, but was celebrated by the villagers for his courage. Justice, in the end, was served, not by the chief, but by the drum and the unyielding truth it guarded.